My name is Shelly Crowell, and this is my broken, not dead story. I'm broken, not dead. My story starts out like so many, just a normal childhood. Well, around the age of 7, my parents divorced. It would be less than a year before my mother was dating a gentleman and would ultimately move in with him and marry him. I remember the very first time I was 8 years old when we were upstairs in an apartment where my mom lived, when my stepfather actually exposed himself and he wanted me to touch him. And on goes a 4-year journey that we would experience of physical abuse, mental verbal abuse, and sexual abuse. Now, do I believe that my mother ever knew that I was being sexually abused? No, I truly don't. My mother was working full-time. She was in nursing school trying to become an RN, just working really, really hard. And so I really think that she just didn't pay attention to any signs that might have been showed. In the meantime, my stepfather would tell me, "I'll kill you if you tell anybody." And so I didn't. When I was 10 years old, my mother was diagnosed with liver cancer. She would spend the next 2.5 years of our lives fighting. I believe she fought so hard because she knew that she had 2 children that depended on her. Now, I cannot imagine the level of burden and pressure put on her when she realized that here she was, dying of cancer, 2 small children, and then remember, we're still in an abusive household. My mother being sick and diagnosed with cancer did not change my stepfather's tactics nor how he treated us. Right before my 12th birthday, my stepfather, for whatever reason, decided he was going to kill us. And so he got a rifle, and I never will forget this. This was June of 1984. I can remember it. I don't remember the exact date, but I remember the month and the year like it was yesterday. So we're talking about almost 37 years ago. During that time, I watched this little frail woman who was dying of cancer, who had these 2 liver drainage bags that were draining poison out of her body. I watched her wrestle probably a 250 to 275 pound, over 6 foot man with a rifle. Now, if you can imagine the sight to see in that, it was quite a sight to see. But somehow or another, she managed to convince him not to kill us, to calm his spirit down, and we were at peace. On this day, though, it would be like not the rest of the days when we had an opportunity to leave, to go to the store to actually buy him cigarettes. Well, I praise God for exit strategies and situations because on that day, my brother and I, we left and we never returned. We never looked back. Yes, he begged and cried, but this time it was different. I would say that my mother would go on to have maybe 3 or 4 good months before she died at the age of 30 in April of 1985. So I went on to graduate from high school in 90, and I went on to college, and I went away to college. My dad has often said the biggest mistake he ever made was ever allowing me to leave his house for college. I went to college, and right before my 19th birthday, the month before my 2nd year of college started, I was date raped. I was not only date raped, I was beaten, and I was left for dead in a ditch. Now, God is so good because He saved me. He saved me multiple times, more than I can ever count on my hands, my toes, and every part of my body, the amount of times He has saved me and been so good and so gracious to me. But during this, I was away from home. I was frightened. I was scared of this guy. And it was actually a guy I was dating. And when I realized our dating was not healthy and that he was not the type of person I wanted in my life, when I attempted to get away from him is when he tried to kill me. Now, I never reported this to the police. I just went on about my life, and I stayed so fearful. I had a lot of nightmares, and I worked night shift at an actual gas station from the college. So he came many days and nights to taunt me, to make me more fearful. And so I knew I was never going to tell anybody. Well, I made friends with a police officer that actually worked that side of town, and he would come in, and actually I got comfortable enough with him that I told him my story. Well, he was about 6 years older than me, so if you do the math, he was 25 and I was 19. Now, at this point, I have been violated twice, once as a child being molested, and 2 as being raped. This guy became my friend, my hero. Anytime I would have issues, he would come to save me. And to make a long story short, I willingly gave myself to this gentleman one time. It wasn't that long after that I found out I was pregnant. And I remember saying, oh my gosh, I'm a church girl, and my dad, my grandparents, they're gonna be disappointed, but it's okay. He's gonna marry me, and it's gonna be so wonderful, and I'm finally gonna get the love that I feel like I have never gotten. Wrong. I told the gentleman one night, I'm pregnant. I'll never forget the look on his face when he looked at me and he said, I am so sorry, but I'm married. At that point, if I could tell you the devastation that I felt, oh my gosh. So to make a long story short, I would just completely remove myself from him. I didn't tell anybody I was pregnant. I was just like, I'll figure this out along the way. One night on my job, I actually had a miscarriage. And thank God a customer came in and called 911 because I might have bled to death right there in the gas station. So I moved home, got a job, continued working on my nursing degree when I fell in love with this gentleman. We're gonna run off and get married is what we told ourselves. Well, unfortunately, about a month before I graduated school, and literally about 2 weeks before we had talked about eloping, he was shot and killed. I was like, God, is there something wrong with me? Is there a reason why that I'm just not meant to be happy and not meant to have somebody good in my life and not meant to be treated well? I spent months laid up in my dad's house. I went back home for a period of time, and it was such a healing time during my life. I didn't even want to go get my license for being a nurse. I just wanted to die. I thought, there's no reason. Apparently, I'm not meant to be happy or at peace. I would go on through many years, and I can tell you, every relationship I had was toxic or unhealthy in some form of way. At the time, you don't realize that the things that happened to you as a child truly do affect you as an adult. I battled with toxic relationships. I battled with my weight, and it was just one thing after another. I had my son out of marriage in 1996 when I was 23. And once again, I knew that I felt like my family was really going to be disappointed in me. But at that point, what do you do? A baby's on the way. And I did not believe in abortion, and I'm so thankful because he's about to be 25 and has given me 3 amazing, beautiful grandsons. His father would go on to be imprisoned when my son was 4, and that's where he spent the last 20 years of his life, is in prison. Now, I would be what I call free for just a short period of time because there was something on the inside of me that was not comfortable with me, who did not love me, who did not want to be alone with me, who felt I had to have another individual, a man in my life to make me whole and complete. What I didn't realize is that only God can fulfill you. Now, He gives us partners and spouses and friends and associates and our children and loved ones to help encourage us, to help, not complete, but to complement us. But there is a portion on the inside of us because God created us in His own image, according to His word in Genesis, that we were created in His image. Therefore, He is truly the only one that can fulfill us. But it would take me many years to realize this. So I would go from toxic relationship to toxic. I was a savior. You could just call me Wonder Woman because I thought if something was wrong with you, I could fix you up. I could bandage you up. I could make you a better person. Oh, you've been through this? I'll just heal you. And so I just took on the weight of the world on my shoulder. Now, because I was a nurse, I love my nursing license too often, too much. I worked too hard to do anything to do that. So I did not abuse drugs and alcohol, but I abused the one thing that is literally free and people will watch you literally kill yourself doing it, and that's food. I couldn't walk 5 feet, I couldn't breathe, oh my gosh, it was just a nightmare. But in my mind, I told myself, I'm okay, I don't have high blood pressure, I don't have diabetes, I am good. But what I realized, my outside presence was just the outside manifestation of an inner, broken, fragmented woman. I reached a certain point just a few years ago, literally like 3 or 4 years ago, that I was on my knees and I was crying out to God. And I said, God, I am tired of the way my life is. I'm tired of being overweight. I am tired of disastrous relationships. I am tired of it all. What can I do? And he told me to get off the floor and pick up the mirror. And that's exactly what I did. And I wish I had a mirror that I could show you. But I literally picked up my mirror and he had me look in it. And he had me say, Shelly, I am so sorry that you have been trapped on the inside of me for all of these years. But do not give up on me because I'm coming to get you. Now, what did that mean? I was just bawling, not even crying, I was bawling. As I said those words, Shelly was my family name. So if you called me Shelly, you had an intimate relationship with me. He said, it is because Shelly is the one that I have created for destiny and purpose. Shelly is the one that on the inside, I have put all my plans and my thoughts and my dreams. And that's who you've got to go back and get. At that point, I didn't know what all that was going to consist of, but I began to walk on a journey of self-care and self-love. Now, am I through with the journey? Oh no, I'm still very much an active participant, a co-laborer with Christ on this journey. But in this journey, I've lost 100 pounds. In this journey, God restored me with a home more beautiful than the one I lost. In this journey, He has given me a job of my dreams, doing better, making more than I could have ever imagined. On this journey, He's given me the friends that I need to sustain me. On this journey, He's given me the people in my life. On this journey, He's given me ministry. He's given me books that I've written. He's given me opportunities to tell other people that you may be broken, but you are not dead, and that God has a purpose for you. And as long as you have breath in your body, there's still a chance.